Normally, I'm totally against blackwashing or race bending characters. But I don't know, something like a month or two back, I woke up in the morning and I looked in the mirror and I had a new outlook on it. I was basically like,
Look at me. I'm Black Superman.
welcome to the Bro Top Show.
You, turn around.
You prefer the view from behind?
No, well, yes. You know I can't lie.
There aren't that many facts or historicity that I can bring to this topic that other people haven't already covered at length. There are a lot of historians, comic historian, pop culture historians, and all these sorts of different people who've already covered this topic and they've brought a lot of comprehensive data to it. There's supposedly, like, at the very least, three black supermen in DC Comics already. And so DC's not doing anything new here. Okay? However, however, I do have some input. The input's more personal than anything else. When I was younger, the one thing that my mom used to do whenever I had a fever, see, if I had a cold, I'd get chicken soup, I'd get some food, these sorts of things. But if I had a fever, if I had a fever, what mom would do is that she would let the fever run its course. If I needed some water, she's a responsible parent. If I needed some water, she'd get me some water. But for the most part, she'd lay me down, let me rest, let me sleep. And in order to keep the body temperature from affecting my brain, she'd have a wet, cold compress and lay it on my forehead while I sleep. You know what I mean? And this woman, she would take the days off of work until I got better. Okay, so she'd be right there by my bedside, putting a wet cloth over my forehead, kind of babying me, spoiling me, and stuff like that. And eventually, the fever would be gone, and completely gone too. Like no lingering side effects, no shedding of whatever virus, caused it. Be completely gone. That is what should happen with the Superman thing. The fever of race bending, it's almost at the edge of the fever. It's almost at the end. We just have to sit this one out and let it play out. Let it play out. Because you know what? The black people who are pushing for this, and it's, believe me, it's not all of us who are pushing for it, but the certain individual black people, the blacktivists, the hashtagtivists who are pushing for this, along with the white liberals, they have their own agenda and they believe that the public is behind them, erroneously so. They think the public's behind them, but they're mistaken. And their time at bat is almost up. Their time at bat is up. Look at all the failures that they're behind, right? They were behind Ghostbusters 2016, Ocean's 8, Terminator Dark Fate, all these different properties that were super woke and failed miserably. I didn't put Star Wars in there because Star Wars is Star Wars. Star Wars, for the most part, is flop free, flop proof. It's flop proof. You put a Star Wars movie out, it's gonna make money regardless. So even though the woke agenda behind Star Wars, the new trilogy, you know, with Ray and Finn and Poe, even though that was a critical failure, it was not a commercial failure because those movies, especially Force Awakens, made like $2.3 billion at the box office. The Last Jedi made like maybe 1.2 billion, and then the final one, what's it? The I forgot what the last one's name was. You know, Rise of something, and that one made like 1.2 billion as well, if not 2 billion. So Star Wars is flop proof. However, critical failure in terms of like we don't want any tattoos of this, we don't want any toys of this. I mean, look at how poorly the Rose Ticos and all these other toys sold. Nobody wants a Ray toy. Who wants a Ray toy in their living room? But we want a Darth Vader. We want a Luke Skywalker. We want a Princess Leia. We want a Han Solo. We want a Chewbacca. We want a R2D2. We want a C3PO. But we don't want Finn. We don't want Poe. We don't want any of these people except, you know what? The Finn that was fighting the stormtrooper in Force Awaken, that was a very good piece. That I probably would want just because of the set around it, though. Because they had the Maz Kanata set, the Takudana set with all those rebels and stuff like that, and then yeah, that looked good. But it's not even for Finn. I'm getting it because of the artistry of it. Okay, so let that fever run its course. Right now, it's the hot thing to race bend, to gender bend, to sexuality bend, to do all these different things. Suddenly, Iceman is gay, right? Canonically, he's been straight hounding after women for like, what is it, 40, 50 years or something like that? But suddenly he's super gay. Let that run its course. You know what? He's gonna go right back to being straight. And the blackifying of all these characters, like the Black Domino, some issues of X-Force, I'm hearing that Black Domino made an appearance. You know what? That's gonna go right back to being white. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So that's my 2 cents on the Black Superman thing and the Black James Bond. Okay, remember they said they wanted a Black James Bond and they wanted Idris Elba for it. Well, Idris Elba said that it was hurting his career to please stop saying it. Please stop saying it. And with good reason. Because he saw that this was a fever as well. It's complete bullshit. Just stop doing that. And I do plan on covering H.P. Lovecraft and the obsession of black people. The obsession black people have of taking H.P. Lovecraft, using his work, and at the same time calling him an avowed racist, which he was. However, if he was such a racist that you can't overlook it, stop using the man's work. Stop using his work. There'll be more opinions on that, and I'll expound more on it. So I'm not really giving a spoiler as to that video. But if you enjoy this sort of content, this has been a very short video, I get it, but I really wanted to touch on the Superman thing before it goes cold. I kept on putting it off and putting it off, and then I realized, you know what? What I have to say about the Superman thing is really not that complicated. Just wait out the fever. Wait out the fever. That's the only thing to do. Wait out the fever because it's going away now. It's already going away. If you look at the reception for Falcon and Winter Soldier, granted, yes, he's going to be Black Captain America, Blackton America. But the thing is, people already miss Steve Rogers. Dude, I'm black. I miss Steve Rogers. They're going to reboot this thing and he's going to go right back to being Captain America. Steve Rogers is going to go right back to being Captain America. We just have to wait out the fever. And one of the things that irritate me to my core is that when we do these things, when we pull off these kind of stunt casting, and we have white characters, traditionally white characters, turn black, what you do is you rob the opportunity to raise up already black characters like Black Lightning, Luke Cage, Blade, right? You miss the opportunity to make those characters, to bring them up to the same status as a Spider-Man. If the time that they spend working on making a black so-and-so, right? Or turning a so-and-so into a black character, if they put that energy towards, let's say, Blade, they haven't had a Blade comic for a while now. He's been showing up in different titles, and he's been like a babysitter and an errand boy. They're like, "Hey, Blade, we're gonna go save the world. Why don't you babysit my kids?" That's not what Blade is for. That's not what Blade is for. Instead of focusing on making this or that character black, why don't you focus on the ones we already have that are black? I prefer Blade, by the way. I prefer Blade to Batman. I like Batman. But to be honest, I prefer Blade. Many people prefer Blade. In fact, I asked some opinions when I saw Blade for the first time. And I was younger. I saw Blade for the first time. The room was full of white people. It wasn't black people. I was the only black guy in there. The only black family, you would say, right? Yeah, I went with friends and family. So the other thing about representation is that they pretend that if you are a particular race or group or ethnic group, you can't identify with the character that's on the page or on the screen. That is nonsense. But I'll be repeating. If I say this, I'm just repeating what some black guy said, just some guy. Who else? The I forgot what the guy's name is. He's a black guy with a beard. And he's very calm and chill. He's got a lot of swag. I forgot what his name is though. Um, Diversity in Comics said this, Clownfish TV has said this, that Umbrella guy has said this, that Star Wars girl has said this. They've all said this. So for me to keep repeating it, that's redundant. What I'd like to bring to the table is let it happen. We're only I can see it already. We're at the edge of breaking the fever. We're right at the precipice of breaking the fever. Okay. People already tired of this nonsense. A black Thor, a black Superman. We're done. We're done. Forget it. Oh, it's like black Batwoman. That's a travesty. That's awful. You mean to tell me they couldn't make a Vixen show? Vixen is way better, has way more powers and way more abilities, and is more interesting than Batgirl. Batgirl is just kind of like a female analog of Batman. Why not make a Vixen TV show, right? But no, they preferred race bending Batwoman. Come on, man. Stop playing games. Stop playing games. The fever is almost done. I think what we should do, some of these characters that they're race bending, let them do the thing. When this Superman movie comes out, boycott it. Bro, tap out.